everyone, it's Sloth today with pretty fun deck that's also very strong. It's Golgari, a color combination that is really appealing to control players, I think, because you can pretty much play it like typical Esper control just without counter spells and you still have sweepers, so that's pretty sweet. And yeah, we have 63% win rate in Mythic, and we are in pretty high Mythic, so it was all around 600 games. I won't show the results, not to spoil everything, but basically we have out of 8 games, we won 5 of them, and to be honest, it feels like in line with the stats I've seen for this kind of deck. It's usually around 60% win rate, so pretty solid, especially if you can go like positive win rate in high Mythic. It's good, right? And you can definitely feel the power in this deck. Like, we are playing for the late game while also having really decent mid game and also early game. Like early game we do a lot. So basically the deck is overall strong, which tends to be the way with Golgari colors, and late game is just insanity. You are so hard to outvalue, even for the counter spell decks. So we will go into the details and see what's up, but the deck really is strong. So it's not like the best deck in the meta, but that's definitely the deck that you will be seeing a lot on the Mythic ladder. So let's see what's up. Okay, and now we are in the deck. So what exactly makes this deck so strong? To be honest, I have to say, Topiary Stomper. This is card that really shines in this deck. So basically, this is new card, 3 mana, 4/4 with Vigilance. Sounds pretty good, right? But it has serious drawback. It cannot attack unless you control 7 or more lands. So it's not your mid-game creature. Not really. But it also gives you a basic land time. You can choose between Swamp and Forest and whatever, but in this deck it's always one of them. So it really helps with all the fixing colors and ramping at the same time. And while it's not a thing unless you have 7 lands, moment you hit the 7th land, and it's not really hard if you have the ramp, suddenly you attack for 8 or 4 or 8. I usually had 2 of them on the board very quickly, and and then you have 5 lands, and then you play the 6th land and ramp with anything, because we have quite a lot of ramp, even like Binding of the Old Gods or whatever. And suddenly both of them attack turn faster than an enemy expected. They're extremely strong with 4 toughness, they're very hard to kill for like harvesters, things like this. And they're very good at killing planewalkers, and maybe you recall one planewalker especially that likes having 4 loyalty on the turn at +1. So yeah, this is your answer. Or at least later in the game, right? So, what more? We have Shigeki. Shigeki is like the whole engine of the value for the deck. As you know, the more lands you have with Shigeki, the better. And with this deck, we have so much lands. We have so many things to do. And we also have so many things to use it for, because we have 4 Invoke Despairs. This is like the big part of the deck, obviously. It gives you card draw, it gives you removal, and it's really good against enchantments, because at some point you will meet so many enchantments in different decks and you need to remove them. So even, for example, if you get 1 card out of this, but you remove 2 things from the board, it's really good. It grinds enemies slowly, turn by turn. And what's better, you can start casting it really often. When you cast Invoke Despair, you get it back with Shigeki, usually even casting it for 6. And believe me, we had games, and you will see in some of the games, we have 11 mana. It means that we can go for Shigeki for 6 mana, get 2 Despairs, and then cast 1 of them. Later you can go Shigeki. Okay, you cannot get Shigeki from Shigeki, but you can still get double Despair or some card or like Binding or whatever you need at the moment, or even dig up and cliff it for another Despair. So you can pretty much grind enemy with Invoke Despairs, whatever he has. And really big thing, Culling Ritual, this is one-off, but man, this card saved me so many times, because when you combine this with Despair, it's insane. So basically, for anyone that didn't play this card, it's quite rare. You pay 4 mana for a sweeper that only destroys anything that's non-land with value 2 or less. But you get mana for every permanent that died this way. So if enemy had flooded the board with tokens or like 1 and 2 mana creatures, you suddenly not only sweep the board, but you also have like between 4 and 6 mana to do something else. And you can clearly see what works really nicely with additional 5 mana. Yeah, so when you cast Culling Ritual, it is often that one creature is like above this cost. And then you get 5 mana, you cast Despair, and suddenly enemy has nothing and you keep drawing cards. So like this card is really huge here in the deck. And you can get it with dig up. So this is the reason why we have 3 dig ups and also quite a lot of one-offs. So we have 1 Titan of Industry because it's your late game that can fix a lot of problems. We have Harness Infinity, card that in this deck is not so hard to cast because you have a lot of mana very quickly. Usually you want to cast it and something else at the same turn. So it depends, but this card really gives you every late game value that you need. We have also Workshop Warchief, really good card in the deck. Not only it is a big creature, not only it gives you life, but also it gives you the token after it dies. So it really provides this tempo swing. If you trade 1 for 1 with the enemy, then he plays his creatures. This has 5 attacks, so it usually trades with whatever it blocks. And then you are left with additional creature, and enemy doesn't have it. And suddenly you get back the tempo, and then Invoke Despair gets better, Binding gets better, all the stuff goes around. We also have Sarulf. To be honest, I wasn't extremely impressed with this card, but it has its use, and it really depends on the draw, when you draw it, right? And we have ways to kill a lot of creatures, like with Meathook, so it has its use. Check for Traps, really good card in this deck, and the fact that you can get it back with Shigeki when you really need it is pretty huge, so really good card. I was really happy about using it. Celestus, more important than you could think, because it ramps us into 5 drops. For example, Despair. It also makes sure sometimes you might play like 2 forests in the early game, and you know that you will be behind in Despair because you have no way of getting this additional black mana. You need 4 black mana. So if you have 2 forests, it means that you will cast it on turn 6 at the earliest. With Celestus, that's not the case. You can actually go for the black mana. And not only this, cycling with Celestus is way better than with the other deck because we have Shigeki. So even if you draw and discard 1 card, it makes you additional draw for Shigeki if the card was good and something you needed. So this is actually a really important card in this deck, and the fact that it heals, it gives you card draw, whatever, it's just huge. So we also have Bala Ged Recovery in case we want to loop Shigeki, so we can get back Shigeki with this, and then Bala Ged Recovery with Shigeki, so we can do it for the infinite time. Usually you don't need it to win the game because the enemy is long grinded out of value and he just left the game. So we also have Trespasser, really good card, and you need some kind of removal for graveyards for those pesky 2-drops, underdogs, right? Yeah, it was underdog. And maybe you will see in the game, maybe you won't. Watch and see. We have 1 soul transfer, because basically we have Artifact, Celestus, and we have enchantments. We have a lot of enchantments. So we have like Binding, we have Meathooks, so we can activate it. It's one-off, so, you know, not the main strategy, but it helps sometimes. So that is the deck. When you play this deck, remember you want mostly black mana. You generally need 1 forest. If you have Stompers, you need 2 forests, and that's nearly it for the rest of the game. The only 3 forests that you will need is Titan or Harness Infinity, and usually you know in advance when you have them, and we have so many like dual lands that usually you have enough green, by the way. So you really need to pay attention about getting swamps more often than forests, so something to keep in mind. And yeah, that's the deck. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the most fun decks, and I will play it off the record because it was really fun. And yeah, Culling Ritual, a small hero of this deck, and card that maybe needs a little bit more attention. So if you like this kind of content, subscribe, like, comment, and I really appreciate every comment and every subscription. So, you know, don't miss out those new decks. We are doing our best to provide the best ones. So that's it, and enjoy the games. Okay, we have pretty decent hand with very good ramp. Harness Infinity, interesting. So we will keep this. And we are playing against Claudia, the one legendary girl of MTG that is playing. And this time we actually go for the forest, which really delays our despairs, but I want to make sure that we cast the Stomper and instantaneously, wow, hard word, punished. Like, punished so hard. We'll regret this forest in a million ways. Okay, that's really good. So, what is this deck? Like, probably some control. They might have artifact removal. I'm conflicted. Let's go risky way, because it's not like we curve into like despair or something, right? So even if it dies, I still think we have some utility out of it, and enemy needs to tap out to kill it, so it's fine. Oh, that's interesting, but we have the bindings, right? So generally we are fine with this. I heard you like dinos. Swamp. This game is going to be very weird. And Harness Infinity is great, but it's too early. We don't have enough cards to make it, like, worth it. Oh, thank you for this. So I guess we are at 14. And we pay 4 mana. Like, we don't have bindings and despairs, which is a bit of a problem. Decline. We really need to ramp. But man, actually, our DINO, I just realized our DINO is like, oh, shut up, bro. Like, he's talking so freaking much. I heard you like dinos. Do we have triple green for Harness Infinity? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yes, we have. Hi, what's up? Can you imagine not having a dino in your deck? Man, I really like this card. Like, in the right deck, it just, like, those 4. Shut up, bro. It's just so huge. And I think we don't care about this 2 life. Let's get rid of stuff. Blood on the snow. A lot of blood on the snow. So what do they get back? Obnixilis? Yeah, seems about right. This will be hard. Like, we don't get sweepers. Do we get rid of the only one? Like, I guess that's his only play. I think we can manage mascots somehow. Worst case, we just play Harness Infinity, right? That is unfortunate, but what can you do, right? Obnixilis.
Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
At least we have Bloodchief first, so we can get rid of one of them. And he cannot copy him. And that's his last blood on the snow, so we know. We also have Hive that can kill Op. Actually, this is pretty good. Shadow. Wow! Wow! How to not play Magic? That's insane he did this. Wow. So, wow. We have 2 mana after we cast Shigeki. And I think that's okay. We want to dig into something good, right? Harness Infinity is, I guess, on the table, but it's not really good yet. I want to see what he does. Yep, we both take cards, which is actually pretty good for us. Because I can discard and still get the card. Maybe let's not show the Bloodchief first. It might change how he plays. Like, the loot mechanic in this deck is actually sometimes the same as drawing. We get extra card from Shigeki because we cycled Sorin. Sure. Okay. You can kill, still kill Sorin with the Hive, so weird. Weird flex. And I'm going for Shigeki, because we just need cards. And Dig Up can fix a lot of problems. Especially with the amount of mana that we have. And we keep drawing, I guess. So this is pretty good land. So the idea is that he next turn mascots, right? So we can go for Dig Up. And Dig Up isn't great. It's good, but it's not great at this situation. So maybe we just go for Despair. But then we can... Okay, so let's think. I think we go check for traps, then activate the Hive, and then kill the token. That seems like the best combination. No stick, so that's very good. Now we attack. We protect. And it doesn't really matter, right? Let's go for Blood on the Snow, because why not? So, enemy doesn't have stuff. And we can get rid of the cards. Bruh. See? Really good. I totally didn't think we were here. Okay, looting is actually really good. I really have enough lands. Yes, please. Okay, so enemy can bring something bad back with Blood on the Snow. But I don't really think it's worth it. Like, it's 6 mana, make 1 Planewalker. Resolve. And we benefit more from the looting than he does. Like, our cards are overall seemingly just better. Let's draw. Culling Ritual. It's okay, but not great now. Okay, so what do we want? I think Despair, right? Despair seems really good. And we go double black, and that's the minimum, so that's good. Good tapping by the auto tapper. Like, Titan is also pretty good, because we can shield stuff. But it will be a bit too slow, right? We have a lot of options. Shigeki is super slow, but we don't need it. Graveyard Trespasser? Not really. Soul Transfer? I don't think so. It seems that Invoke Despair is just best here, because it deals damage and draws us a lot of cards. And we need both of those things. Actually, we could just get rid of the Celestus first. You know what? I like this idea. I want us to be the only person that benefits from the day-night cycle, especially that we switch it right now. Like, you can be surprised how beneficial Celestus is during the long game. It's like plus 40 HP. Wow. Just have it all. I'm waiting for the moment when enemy will just, you know, draw a land from the top of his deck, and that will be his turn. Look, just top decking pretty good cards every turn. Like, I think Sorin will be the only one. What? That seems to be horrible choice. What? Do you really need lands in this situation? Sure. So we can draw a lot of cards very easily. Let's ramp, because with this deck you always have not enough cards. And I guess we start with Despair, right? Or we could... Okay, I think that's actually better. Let's get rid of this. Now let's play Despair. And believe me, it was as intended. Totally. We could switch right now, and I think that's worth it. Because we can cycle, draw a card, and I don't think Boseiju is the most important part. We just need to cycle a bit. And right now Harness Infinity is starting to look really good. At some point he will be forced to use Blood on the Snow for nothing. And you can see how much cycling we are doing. We got rid of 2 lands already. And finally, that's the card we want to have. So, let's start like this and start drawing more and more. Like Harness Infinity is always our like bottom play if we really don't have something to do. Shigeki, amazing. So do we kill enemy by Hive? He has 2 Planewalkers, right? So if he casts Blood on the Snow, both work, I guess. So I think we go Takenuma into Shigeki and just make sure that we outvalue enemy. Like every turn, the Emperor. Man, that's how you play Magic.
Now you've done it. That's coming off.
Can you imagine not top decking a Planewalker for 1 turn in this game? I can tell you how to do it. Like, we drew 3 lands in a row. Sure, bro. Sure.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
I actually think we can do it pretty nicely because we have still 4 mana. And it saves us more HP this way. Also, enemy has no board right now. Okay, so he will get what? Sorin, right? Okay, so enjoy your Sorin. And now we have some decisions to make.
Consider yourself fortunate our motives align.
What is in our graveyard? Like, we can just spam Invoke Despair, I think that should be pretty good. Okay, let's see, Mascot Exhibition. Probably. Yep. Okay, pretty cool. So now it's our turn. Meathook is very good. Oh, Titan of Industry, that's also pretty good. But I still prefer Shigeki. Let's draw. Hive, not bad, but a bit too slow. Wow, thank you, deck. Like, this deck really doesn't cooperate too much. So, what do we do? Probably we want to cast Shigeki. How much mana do we have actually? 11. So we have 6 without the Despair. That seems pretty good. So we can go double Despair. 1. And for the next turn another 1. And let's check. We have exactly 5 mana. So we can remove everything. And 1 of the Planewalkers. If he casts Mascot Exhibition, then we Meathook and cast another Despair. And we really want more lands. You can see that with this deck you actually never have enough lands. And it might seem that we are not using Harness Infinity, but it is the play that allows us to make all the other plays, because we never run out of value. And I'm doing this first. Because man, this deck is just so fun. You just spam stuff, and we have infinite Shigekis, so we can do it pretty much for the rest of the game. Field of Ruin, sure, we need more lands. I was even thinking about playing Shigeki so we can ramp more. Like, enemy can play, but they can never outvalue us. Like, you can cast Blood on the Snow every turn, and we can cast Shigeki for double Despair every turn. And guess how it ends? Channel? This is freaking ridiculous. And we could play it in the different way probably, but how fun is this? And let's go like this, because I want to deal more damage. Like, enemy can do it every turn and it doesn't matter. Like, man, this is freaking crazy. This was one of the most fun games I had with this deck. Just every turn go Shigeki, double Despair, Shigeki, double Despair, and the enemy cannot keep up with top decking even. Okay, so we are going second, but we have pretty good ramp, and Culling Ritual can be very good here. So we will keep it. When you have Meathook Massacre and some ramp, it's really, really good overall. So let's see what the enemy is playing. Like enchantments, as always. Okay, that's worse because we are on the play. Let's go for black. And yeah, it might show the Meathook Massacre or Infernal Grasp. So let's make a stop so the enemy isn't sure about this. That's not great. But we'll have so... oh man, actually we will have so much mana with the ritual. And yeah, I'm tryharding it so hard. Generally you don't exactly want to show the enemy that you have nothing. Because it really, when you sit no stick, it makes the game so much easier. Because you can like get rid of all the like things, pretty much. So, do we go for the Celestus or the DINO? DINO. What they can do? I think DINO is a bit safer overall. They will play something and we need to play something, so we won't get any benefit from the day-night cycle. And I like stuff here. So black, right? We need way more black. In this deck you generally want black, as long as you have some green to make the split costs. Like you'd need 3 green for the Titan, but that's pretty much it. And you have a plant that is also a dinosaur. Like, we will see. Like, this can kill one of the Hallowed Huntings. And when we cast Culling Ritual, like, man, we will have so much mana that it's really insane. Problem is that we didn't get any lands, like, on the top. So, we cannot really Meathook right now. So, if we cast this, then we kill all of this, right? And then we have what? 5 mana. We can Invoke Despair. Like, it doesn't look bad, right? I think we have to do it because we got a bit screwed. And what do we get? I think, wow, I like this slider. I think we go like this and then we go cast Invoke Despair. And then hopefully we can go into the Meathook Massacre. Man, this card, this freaking card, just saved us so much. Like the fact that we can get rid of one of the Hauntings, draw a land, and clear the board all at the same time. One of the big problems with sweepers is the fact that you lose initiative. And with this, you don't. Okay, enemy is still making stuff. But we just need to get rid of the Haunting, right? Like, so far, so good, to be honest. Let's go for black. Now we have more stuff. Binding is pretty good. We have what, 6, so we need one more to be able to use the Stampler. Now, to be honest, this one seems good. It's a very good blocker. That also gives us a Rhino next turn. Binding is cool, so this is what, how much damage? At least 5, 6, 7. Probably like 11. So I guess we live through it. I will do it like this. Because I really want to get rid of the stuff. And let's make sure that his hand isn't perfect. Okay, I guess. That's a lot of gas. Let's hope he doesn't draw any enchantments that are amazingly good. And now, when we cast the Meathook Massacre, man, from the top of his deck, in top 13 cards, he got 3 of them. Man, I'm so mad at this point. Like, we dedicated full last turn to prevent exactly this situation. That's a bit infuriating, but okay. And our Dino is actually working. So let's attack first. It has Vigilance. And finally, you can see the DINO and plant at the same time in action. The fact that we cannot get rid of this is really bad. That was the full strategy, right? So, if we Meathook, we go for what? 3. So we have 1 more mana, so we don't really do anything else, right? Which kind of sucks, and this is why we did removal of Harrowed Hunting last turn. But we still have good, like, value. Problem is, for Invoke Despair, he sacrifices the Wedding and not the Haunting. So, problematic, but Invoke Despair looks really good here. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. We are getting into good parts of the game. So, what do we do? If we cast Celestus, I think we can invoke. Okay, so let's attack at first and see what's up. To be honest, DINO is really doing some work. Like, it does kills their HP, of course, but it provides us like with a pretty solid blocker overall. And now we can start a bit healing. And let's start getting rid of those counters and things. So we don't die next turn. That would be optimal. Man, like, we need so much stuff to answer what they have. Lands are really good. This is really good, but we are under quite a bit of pressure because of the hauntings. Just can you whiff for 1 single turn in this game? I know you are an enchantment deck and you always draw enchantments. Thank you. Thank freaking you. Okay. I'm happy. Now I'm happy. So, what do we do? Harness Infinity, super slow. So we go for Binding and Trespasser probably. I think we get rid of this one. It's just a bit too expensive for this state of the board. Let's attack. See the triggers, and I think the game should be ours. Let's go for the Binding. And please, don't top deck the 4th one, okay? In top 15 cards, that would be awesome. And we can go for both. Like, I think Trespasser is just better. We also flip to daytime. I don't really think it matters, so let's get rid of this. And oh, it's a nighttime. We get a premium. This actually was pretty good. Let's draw. Boseiju. Boseiju is actually better than the Stomper, even though the Stomper is really cool. Like, it's basically a 4/4 that draws you a land, and that's all she wrote. Even with those crazy top decks, we managed to win versus enchantments, so I'm pretty happy. Man, I really like this deck. It's so dominating, and Stomper feels really nice here. Okay, so let's start with the tap land, obviously. Man, I wonder what we draw. Okay. That's actually quite good. So let's get rid of the tap lands, and now we can actually start playing on curve. Weird. I like those lands, they look pretty neat. Let's go for the lands that we don't have any decisions with. And I usually want to make stops. Let's not make it so easy that we don't have anything. You generally don't want to show it, because it really changes how the enemy can play when he's guaranteed that you cannot do anything. Okay, that's a really good draw. Like, that's actually a good draw. Let's go for black for the Spurs. And I think we just go for the DINO. DINO works in this deck so well. So we have what? 3? Okay, that's definitely a swamp. And we can start casting the Spurs. Bro, that's so freaking good. And we can very quick, like, we could dig up. Man, we should dig up, I think. Or not. Okay, I changed my mind. Why? Because in 3 cards we are guaranteed to draw a land. Right? We are guaranteed to do it. What the hell, man? That's insane. That's actually insane. I really think we should get rid of the Binding, which breaks my heart. Anakin. Oh man, that was so weird. So enemy is it without the blue? Seems fine. We are Golgari without lands, so yeah. The game is shaping to be extremely as it should be. Can you freaking imagine? I'm doing this. I'm searching for my land. I deserve my lands. How many forests do we have? 3. I think it's enough. Let's go for swamp. Thank you. See, wasn't so bad. So I think what we are doing first is play the DINO. So our second DINO can attack and force maybe some answer. And okay, maybe I have some regrets about not having enough forests, but nobody knows about this. Like, man, the fact that you can get your ramp, and at some point your ramp will threaten to win the game in 2 turns, or maybe 3, that's pretty insane. We could cast the Meathook because he's probably removing this, yep. But I think it's still not worth it. Like, not exactly. I heard that Invoke Despair is good card. Oh, it seems pretty good. Oh, we played the land, right. And given this situation, I will actually play Meathook right now. Better than this card, and we definitely don't need more than 1. We just go for Shigeki. That's fine, we have a lot of basics. This is one of the good parts about the deck, and I want a lot of swamps, because I want to cast Despair very quickly. Very quickly. So basically, we can get what? Oh man, like, we want all the value. So we have what? 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards. And if we do it like this, I think it's better, right? No, we just get 2 cards. So that sucks a bit. So we skip the turn and see what's up. Enemy has the initiative and he better uses it good. Like, I really like about this deck that you have such a big mana advantage. If that's all you do, bro, you are so dead. You are so freaky. He will scoop when he sees what we are doing. He will just freaking scoop the game. Double, yeah. Oh, I guess we go for Stomper, because I like dinos. And you might not encourage this, and I will still get the dino. See? Like, I'm so glad you played this 6 mana. The problem he made a mistake. You will generally want to play this together with 1 mana for some instance, so we can get instant value, and then burn down the house could be useful or something like this. I really don't like playing it and being tapped out against Golgari, that we obviously have bindings, and Invoke Despairs. Okay, we are going second. We have some ramp, so it's okay. But definitely great card on the play. So enemy is like some ninjutsu deck, I guess. Let's definitely use one of them. And what do we want? Generally we want more black, right? So we can play this as green if we care. Let's go for this one. You want to be prepared for Despairs. And for this deck, like 3 green is all that you need for the full game. I think we get 1 dig up. We don't care. And let's go for Shigeki. Shigeki is super good here. Like, we really want to ramp as much as possible. And just make a huge Meathook Massacre and hopefully win. Devouring Tendrils. Wow. Target creature. Power to target creature you don't control. Okay, and gain 2 life. I've seen this card. Okay, so basically we go for green and we make the other ramp. And at some point the dino will be pretty useful. And this one is on green, so then we have 3 green that is needed for this deck. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, put 1/1 counter on creature or vehicle. Okay, and channel. Okay, Not extremely scared, to be honest. So do we kill it? Like, to be honest, I like the ramp. I do like the ramp. And I'm not super scared about the death touch right now. So, let's see what's up. We need as much as possible because we have dig up, so we can dig into value. Search your library for 2 basic land forest cards. Reveal them. Okay. We might even Meathook next turn. Put up to 1 target. Man, like so much stuff going on and cannot read the card. Put up to 1 target land card from graveyard on top of your library, so it's not a draw. Exile and it's transformed. Okay, so it's like a landfall deck, I guess. It's good to know. So if we dig up, what do we get? I think Despair. Or maybe even Harness Infinity, but we don't have enough cards. So I think what we do, in reality, is first we can attack, but I think he might block, so let's go for Meathook first. If I was sure he wanted to defend, I would just attack for 2 extra damage, but I think it's better. Now we check for traps and see what's up. Oh man, so weird cards. See, we don't need to read. And just for you, if you cared about his hand, because the deck he's playing was pretty weird. Tales of Master Seshiro, you can pause, and Sheltering Bots, you can pause if you care. Okay, we are going first with honestly quite reasonable hand. We don't have Shigeki, which is unfortunate, but other than this it's pretty good. Check for traps might come really handy. And we have on curve pretty much every turn if we keep drawing clans, and if we don't, we play something else, I guess. Recovery? I still prefer check for traps. I assume he will have something good next turn. And this should be green, I think. It could be different color, but I think it's a bit safer this way. Renegade. For each other modified creature you control. Okay, so modify deck. I'm a bit scared about this card, to be perfectly honest with you. This one has haste. So what can we block? So this will be on curve, right? So he plays this next turn. Then we play Trespasser. Then he plays this and attacks. So I think we get rid of this, right? Then he plays the Raichu. Put counter. Well, then we cannot kill Raichu. That's a hard choice. Man, I don't know. All of them are super good. Let's try to go for the curve at least. That was not great. Like, every card is on curve pretty much and will do a lot. And double 4-drop means that whatever we discard, he gets the second one, which is also pretty hard. But at least we have 1 turn ahead on him right now. So let's go for the Trespasser. Unfortunately, this exiles card, and in this situation, it's not great. We have, you know, the Snake Shaman, Shigeki, so we don't want to exile stuff. So I guess, okay, that's really good. So he wants the kicker, right? We could get something from him, but probably we want to ensure that we get correct mana. We won't be able to cast Invoke Despair, unfortunately. So let's cast this tapped. And then not attack, because enemy has a lot of hasters and he will play one of them. And actually the fact that he switched to nighttime is really huge, because now Raichu cannot really go through the gluten. I'm not sure if he did it on purpose. I think he might have forgotten. So right now we trade, then we play the Warchief, and we are really happy about it. So yeah, I think in the end, like in retrospect, it was all pretty good. Let's play like this and force him to kill. So right now the next creature he plays will just trade and we have the token on top of him, and if he plays Halana and Alina, it's even better because we can kill it with binding. The only problem with this card is the fact that it can give haste to other creature, but if that's not the case, man, that's just so freaking good. Like, I thought we were in huge trouble, but right now it seems better and better. Do we attack? I honestly don't think we should. This gives the most value if it just goes, you know, as a blocker and dies to something. And I think we are happy for the long game because we have Despair. So at some point when we have free turn, we just draw a lot of cards and then draw a lot of cards and then draw a lot of cards and then he scoops. Oh, okay. Let me tell you, that's something I didn't account for. I'm not going to lie on this one. He won't have any saving, I think, on the creatures. So, let's go like this. And then see what's up. So we take it as a defender for the next creature that will inevitably come. And Vorinclex, you can consider it dead. He will probably bank on this doubling some counter, so he will probably play either this or some other creature with counter. Also, if he has another Vorinclex, if you remove it before his combat phase, sure. Here's the Rhino. Man, this card is so good. Like, so much value. Pretty much always goes 2 for 1. We don't have Embercleave in the format, but let's just kill it before anything can happen. Anything wrong can happen. Deathcap is really good here as well, because we can go for the full value. Not sure what the full value will be, but we can go for it. Like maybe even Meathook or something. Okay. Well, that's good, but that was his full turn pretty much. And we switched to daytime, so hopefully we can dig into some big card. Okay, that's actually good. Take action, get 1 HP. Oh man, that's such a good card. I think we go like this. Man, I hate to get rid of this, but it's a bit too expensive, I would say. And like, we have enough stuff. Let's go for back. One of the reasons Celestus helps in this deck. And I want to draw some cards. Lair will be big problem. Sarulf, Realm Eater. Not sure about this one. I'm happy enemy played something that isn't Lair. Okay, so what do? We definitely play the land, right? We could go for Meathook and then keep Infernal Grasp for Hydra. Then we cannot buff Sarulf, but I think that's the best case. It also helps a bit. It helps with the life gain. And I think the enemy, like, we could play Sarulf, but if enemy activates the lair, it's what, 4 damage? Like, I guess it's not so bad. But if he does it, like, we have to kill it with Infernal Grasp at some point. Oh, that's not great. That's not great. At least he's tapped out. So, we are a bit of top deck mode, but we have at least this blocker. It's not the best, so it is possible we cycle. Okay. Dig up is really good. So let's cleave and see what's up. Titan of Industry looks really promising. Like, it's Invoke Despair or Infinity, which is super slow. We would prefer to draw it. Invoke Despair, how good is it right now? We have 3, 5 mana and we have not enough black. That's unfortunate. Titan of Industry should be good enough, right? I think that's our card. And we do this, so we have blocker, so we are sure to live through this turn. It also means he cannot attack with the Swarm Shambler. That's a good draw for us. Oh, that's pretty cool. So let's heal. Like, Celestus is small, but together with Meathook, like, man, you heal quite a bit. And you cycle bad draws at the same time. Thanks, game. Thanks, game. What the hell? So, let's do the thing, shall we? And I will leave this. Next turn we can start using Celestus. So, we don't need life, I think. Definitely the token, and I think the shield counter is very good here. Let's make it on the Titan, so it's super hard to remove. And in these situations we can really start attacking the enemy. And actually, yeah, I know that was super dumb. And see, I knew enemy will be even worse than me. He should just activate the Hydra and kill it, but fortunately did not happen. So definitely huge mistake on my part. And that's the best top deck of his deck, actually. That's literally the best top deck of his deck. Maybe except Vorinclex, but not sure. Okay, Shigeki. Shigeki is huge here. I don't want to click Graveyard too much, because it really tells the story what we have. So, Invoke Despair. And a lot of remover. We have what? 4, 6, 8. 8 mana. We can take 3 cards. If we attack with everything, what happens? Can we kill him? No, I don't think so. I think we go for the big attack here. And by big attack I mean 1 creature attacks. We can sacrifice the rest if we really care. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I will gladly trade the shield counter. And still we get the trample. Yep, we get 1 more damage and 1 counter on Sarulf. To be perfectly honest, we can do it like this. Because it might be game changing next turn. We can activate 2 Hives at the same time and it will be super hard to block. Enjoy your counter. And we just go for Shigeki and we can go for whatever we want. Possibly a Despair. Yep. So this is good because we attacked, pressured him, so he dies next turn unless he does something, and we had way too many blockers for him to do something. Still, Ranger Class really good.